So this week we're going to explore a fun photography lesson using a technique called forced perspective. Forced perspective is an optical illusion that makes objects either appear larger or smaller than they actually are, depending on how close or how far you place them from the camera. Now, you don't need a fancy camera or any special high-tech equipment to make a good forced perspective photo. All you need is a camera, Chromebook, laptop, or cell phone. Really, any device with the built-in camera will do the job. Personally, I think a cell phone or a camera is probably the easiest to work with because then you can really move around and get the right angles, which is what forced perspective is all about. So here's a quick little video showing how you can make an object appear either larger or smaller depending on how close you put it to your camera lens. If you put it closer to your lens, it's going to be in the foreground and it's going to be larger. Objects that you put farther away from your camera lens are going to be off in the distance in the background and they're going to appear smaller. So here you can see that even though the doll and the bucket were around the same size, the doll now appears to be much larger than the bucket, and the bucket looks like a little cup in the doll's hand. Now, if we reverse it and we place the doll in the background farther from the camera lens, and we place the bucket in the foreground closer to the camera lens, then the opposite is going to happen. The doll's going to appear really, really tiny, and the bucket's going to appear really large. And if you place your camera down to the ground level, which is key, then you can create the illusion that the doll is now sitting on top of the bucket. So forced perspective is a really fun photography technique to play around with, but it's also a really good way for you to learn about foreground and middle ground and background and depth perception, how to make something appear closer to you or farther away. These are some examples that I just found online, but if you Google those two words, forced perspective, you will find tons and tons of pictures that could be a good source of inspiration and maybe spark some creative ideas for you to run with. Also, don't forget to check out the assignment in our Google Classroom because there's a slideshow in there with other examples and a couple of videos that I want you to watch. Have fun!